Hey, welcome to Retreats at the Wen. So I actually have one, two, 3 pages of notes for you and I to go over today. So what is the Wen? The Wen Inn is a tiny little inn, and it's not so tiny, it's 10 rooms. But where it is special for, it is in the state of Minnesota. Hello, this is Mickey Mikeworth, and this is a prosperity business model that I have worked on. This is a project I have worked on. This is an inn that is owned by my friend Marge, who has worked on many prosperity projects with me. So when you think about a retreat at the Wen, I want you to think about partnership and partnership with people who have love as their base conversation, right? Prosperity is the ability to magnify, and what's the dot that we start magnifying from is love. So when you come to the inn, it is really easy to feel all of the love. That inn was built in the 1900s. It is what is called a heritage site. So a heritage site is something that has been preserved to keep its heritage independently of us. So the heritage of that is that's the name of the last name is Wen Inn. So we should shorten it to be cooler at the Wen. Um, when you think about the Wen, it is in the early 1900s that everything in that house is period. Well, all the big stuff. Dishes are newer. The the idea is that you can come to a heritage site and truly feel as though you have walked back in time. So it has a giant porch. It has 10 rooms that are available to you. So as someone who is wanting a retreat and you want it small, having a small venue where you can have overnights is actually very difficult to find. And it's also really difficult to find at an affordable rate. And that's where we come. We can partner with you. And what I also really appreciate about this space is it's a small enough space that you can rent out the entire building, and you can just have your people in the entire space. So you don't have to be competing with other guests, or you don't have to manage how quiet you are or how loud you are if everyone in that house belongs to you. So it is in your best interest to fill the house. It's also the most cost effective. So let's walk through some of the details of that inn. So we are hoping to co-create with you, that we understand small, we understand people who are just starting out, but we also understand intimacy. So having that space so that you can be closer to the people that you love, or to build a safe place for people to build it in community, or to just create that this is the workspace. So the amenities are that you can break it into two. So one, we can block off the space so that the people that are attending can pick their rooms, that you can rent the whole thing and then assign rooms, but you can also break it apart so that the fee that they're paying to stay is separate than the fee that they're paying your for your actual event. So that oftentimes for people who are leading retreats, they like the fact that their retreat cost is separate than the housing cost. And it also allows people to double up on housing. This is a period, this is a period building. So there are 0 king size beds. So these are full size beds and some queen size beds, but the vast majority of beds are full size. There are also some smaller beds that have a single in them as kind of an extra. So when you're thinking about this and how it would kind of work, you would end up with 7 guest rooms, an innkeeper, and yourself. So that kind of fills in the space. 7 or 8, but the ability for people to rent their own room or have their space, there's only one room that has 2 beds in it, that has 2 beds for adults. So getting to know the inn, there's lots of videos on it. You can see it in advance. But for a retreat person, there's so much to offer. There's so much to offer right in the building that it doesn't get tiring. So if you're there for 3 days, 5 days, or 7 days, there's a lot of expansion that can happen. So if you're hosting a retreat for a 3-day, I'm really going to encourage you to come on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, because those are our off times, and that's going to be the most affordable for you to pay for the inn on your own and just add it into your fee, or it's just the least expensive for your guests. The other thing that I would tell you is to come in off season. So come in during the winter. So coming in January, February, March, and the very beginning of April. You're not going to get much past April in these lower fees. So come in off season. That will also keep your pace very gentle. There is a requirement of a hold. So in order for us to even consider, one, you have to call, and we have to see if the time is available. And for you to even just go, let me give you a date set, and for us to hold it, you need to put money down for us to hold it. So that for a 3-day hold for the entire inn, we need a $500 deposit. If you're coming for a 5-day and you want us to hold it, it's a $700 deposit. If you want a 7-day, that is a $1,500 hold. Now, here's the great thing. Our books go out 2 months in advance, so you have to give us 60 days notice. But if things change, you can just move your 3-day, your 5-day, your 7-day a little bit further out and still keep the same deposit. So you don't have to close it out and start all over again. There is an agreement that has to be made. For those of you who are having a 7-day, I'm really going to encourage you to keep an innkeeper on the whole time because they're really helpful. The rooms are they're not cleaned every day. So when they move into that room, it's theirs. So there's nobody coming into their room at all. They each have a key to their room, and they are each responsible for the key in their room. And so they can lock their things up. They can be in there. There's enough space in that house. It's 3 levels, and there's 7 rooms inside and 3 rooms outside. There is a giant wraparound space outside, that wraparound porch that you can dine 40 at. So you can have a big, beautiful meal outside if you're coming in the warmer months. And you can book the whole thing out in a warmer month, and it's still fairly affordable. But it's in those in-season months, you really have to give us advanced warning, because there are some weeks that we cannot rent out because we are getting the highest dollar volume for the other activities that are in the area. In the summertime, that inn is busy because there is a bike path right outside our door. And that bike path is amazing. And all of these little towns have invested in that bike path, drawing a certain type of customer into the area. And that is someone who is older, who is educated, who loves the arts. So during that season, there's outdoor concerts, there's lots of theater, there's stand-up comedy, there's something going on in every tiny town that's directly around us. So this is their livelihood. The other thing about the inn is there's lots of other inns around, but none of them are as pristine as the Wen. So it would be hard to pick one that is in as pristine of care. And part of that is because of our business model. So our business model is that we are a prosperity business model. We also co-share we co-create, and we co-create with our community. So you are part of our community as a retreat person. We want to see you every year. We would like you to have that retreat every year. We'd like you to have it with us, and we'd like to have your repeat business. And we'd like to support you in what you're doing. The other thing that we love is we love to have guests come back. We love to have your families. We love to have your family reunions. We love to have your wedding. We love to have all of the celebrations that you can think of at the inn. The other thing is that because it is so well kept, it's easy to hang around because it's interesting. It's interesting because we are interested in being interesting. So whoever we co-create with other people. So sometimes there's a guest host, sometimes you have the owner that's there, then sometimes you have just really interesting weather. The other thing that's interesting about that space is upstairs in the back room, there is a stargazer's deck. So you can just go out and enjoy the stars at night. And we have other people that we've partnered with that can bring other tools to your guests. So if you don't want to drive your whole group around, you can car share, or we can bring things to the inn for you. The dining room seats 16 perfectly. So if you wanted to cater in, if you wanted to create a meal together, you can do that. We have a large kitchen. At no point am I ever going to say, boy, you should cook every meal there, because that's no. That is a no. There is so much to do out there. You'll want your guests to go out. You'll want to experience it, especially if you're having a 7-day. Go experience some of the cuisine around. There is a lot of times we will do when we have people coming for a long time. On a 7-day, I usually remind people the first night, invite people to bring a potluck so you don't have to leave, so you can get to know everyone and just try stuff and hang out, because that dining room is huge and it is the central piece of that place. So if you're having a quilting group, those big tables, that's the last time you'll see them other than the first night, because you'll end up you can get 8 machines sewing on those giant tables quickly. And there are other videos for you to look at so you can see the dining room. So when that first night comes, I always encourage people to just have a potluck the first night, bring them into community right in that middle space and break bread and just get settled in and let them explore the house. The house is 3 stories and it is a main house, and then there's the back end of the house. Then there's these wraparound space outside that's outdoor seating. And then there's a stargazer's deck. And room 8 has, the only way you can get there is right in through the back end, the back side of that building. So it's like a little tree house. You will want to familiarize yourself as someone who's hosting. You'll want to familiarize yourself with the building itself. So we often, if you think you're going to put a down payment down and you'd like to come ahead of time to just get your vibe on, feel the inn, we will give you a discounted rate to just come and do that. So once you decide that we're the one to hang out with, you've got your 60 days notice, just put your hold on that date, come on down. We just have to have you pay a cleaning fee, but you can come down and just spend a day and stay over and see what it's like. And if you don't like it and it's not right for your people, we'll give you your money back. But so far, that's happened 0 times. So far, that's why it's an easy one to give. 0 times it's happened. But one day it might, I don't know. So you're welcome to come down ahead of schedule and see if it's in your jam. So the other thing about the prosperity business model that I remind people about is it's a profit sharing model. So all of the people that are hosting get paid. All of the Amish community that's around us gets paid to clean that building. So we are able to support lifestyles. We use all local people that we are bringing money into a small town, which is a big deal. So we want you to take everybody to the local breakfast place. We want you to go to the corner of Rushford and get something from, we want you to get gas in the area. We want you to fill up your car. We want you to go out for ice cream, maybe try bowling. So we want you to enjoy the area because that's how they stay alive. That's how they stay alive. And we're fans. We're fans of the area. We're fans that people have decided to co-create. But the business model itself is there so that we can work without middlemen. So what does that mean? It means that you book all of those rooms with us directly. When you book through Expedia, Airbnb, all of those other things, they're taking a cut away from our profit. So every time that we can have someone book directly with us, it saves us 30%. 30%. So when you are looking at how do we pay people who are knowledgeable, interesting, and fabulous to be your host, they're worth the money. So they get a percentage of your booking. The innkeeper. So I always encourage people to have an innkeeper. If you are someone who is in our community and has gone through our innkeeper training, that's another way for you to understand how to run the building itself. And that's another way for us to build community with you. So if it's a place that you love and you'd like to get trained in on how to do the upkeep and how to manage all of that, go ahead. But I will tell you, the reason to have the innkeeper is the innkeeper will get up at 6:30 in the morning and make coffee. And they'll put out a little breakfast for everybody. And that right there is worth it. So, and they'll do all the dishes in the morning. So, and sanitize them and get them ready. And that right there is worth the cost of keeping the innkeeper for the whole time. You get to control all your meals. So sometimes people actually don't eat that much. So a lot of times the when we have a 7-day booking where you're going to be there for all week, we really try to give you a list of some outings and some other things that you can do, but inviting people to go out and explore the area, to maybe do a hike. The other thing that's interesting, I think that is so interesting, is that the rooms themselves become magical little oases. So you can utilize the space up and down at the same time. There is a large sunroom area that seats probably 12, and you can have a group in that area as well as another group in the front, what we call the reading space. Then that is the front area that also seats about 7 comfortably. So you can have people in multiple areas of the house feeling like they're private. They're not going to run into each other. There's also enough up and down in that space so that when people want to just get away and not be with their other guests, they can hide, that they can comfortably go take a nap, that they can do personal work. So if you're wanting to kind of let people adjourn to their rooms and maybe have quiet time, or just the ability to not be peopling, they can safely do that. And they can do that without feeling like they're abandoning the group. The best part of partnering with the Wen is that we're willing. We're happy to have you. We want you to do well. We want you to fill the space. We want you to enjoy your time. And it's affordable. It's not like anybody else because we're still run by humans, and humans that have a prosperity mindset. So we're there to help you every step of the way. So when you're looking for ideas, we've seen it. We've seen people put together a charcuterie beauty board. We've seen people put together a dress up time. We've seen people put together Hawaiian night. So there are many other things that we can come to the table with as someone who enjoys you, who enjoys your theme, who wants to co-create with you. And that's really the best part. So it's affordable, it's small, it's easy to fall in love with. It does things for the right reasons, and it is lovely. So if you are coming to do a retreat and you're looking for a small space, please consider us. And we would love to do that. Remember, you do have to have a 60-day notice to even just save it on our books. And remember, those prices are: a 3-day is $500 to hold, a 5-day is $700 to hold, a 7-day is $15 to hold. So you will want to think about who's there, how many days do you want to have, and keeping it small. We have 10 total rooms. 1 is for the innkeeper. So you end up with 9 rooms. So that's probably for you. So now you're down to 8 rooms. Most people are doing a retreat with someone else, so they're down to 7 rooms. And so when you start to think about that, that's why I keep saying, pick a retreat that you can do with 7 guests. And if those guests happen to share a bed, it's even better. So come join us, come see our space, watch the other videos, and I hope I get to meet you. Have a great day, and I'll see you at the inn.